Hi.
Welcome to SoulSpace podcast number 40.
Yeah, welcome to 40, you guys. Whoop, whoop.
Today we're going to talk about clearing the clutter in your mind. We talked about spring cleaning or spring cleaning the mind, I guess. We talked about spring cleaning and clearing the clutter at your house a couple weeks ago.
We did, yes.
So this week we thought about talking about the mind, since we did have the eclipse yesterday and the energy is a little wonky. I don't know really how to explain it.
Yeah, a lot of people
But-
seem kind of tired and
Yeah,
seems like everybody's mind is running and running and running. I think, with the changing of the seasons, everything's a little bit of that maybe chaos state right
yeah,
before we're switching finally into that new energy of the new spring.
right, yeah. So it's just a little bit off for a lot of people right now, and we thought we'd kind of help you calm that a little bit, and do some work on just quieting your mind. We're going to do a meditation, and we're going to do an exercise out of asking it is given, about making a list of, it's called the placemat exercise.
Yeah.
So you send some of your tasks to the universe and let God worry about it.
Yeah.
And
Learn how to put it down and let some of it go so that you can just focus on the most important things and
Right.
allow the other things to begin to get taken care of.
yeah,
And it's just a really helpful thing for quieting your mind and getting that to-do list down, but letting some of it go and realize that you don't have to do everything or figure out the how of everything.
right.
And that can be really huge in helping you to shift to
Mhm.
being able to be like, okay, now I can
Yeah,
relax.
yeah,
At least a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. We don't have to do everything at once and know all the answers, and we're here to enjoy life and experience things, and we don't have to know the big answers to all the questions, right?
Right.
And that's where a lot of people get messed up, I think. They think you have to know what's going to happen, what's in the future, where are we going? We don't need to know all of that. If we learn to kind of go with the flow, and yeah, you have a plan, you have an intention, but we don't have to know all the steps and every little thing that's along the way.
Right. And you don't have to carry it all yourself either.
Right.
And that's where a lot of people get stuck up is, well, I have this big long list and I have to do all of it myself, all right now. And it's like, no, you don't.
Yeah,
You don't.
there's a lot.
There is so much support and help for you. And this exercise is really wonderful for helping you to let go of some of that, focus on what it is that is really
Mhm.
important to you and things to get done. And then also we're going to help you quiet your mind even further today with that wonderful meditation. It's going
Yeah.
to feel really good.
Yeah, it is. So let's start with the exercise and
Yes.
give some of that up.
Yes. Do you want to do the first part of it?
Sure. Okay, so the placemat process, it's called, and it's process number 10 in this book, our favorite.
Asking it is given.
Asking
Very
it's
well
given.
used book of mine.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's page 211. So when to use this process? When you want to more effectively utilize your universal manager, or God, or whatever you call that universal higher power of yours. When you want to create your own reality more through the flowing of energy.
Who doesn't want to do that?
Right. Yeah, that's the ticket. If you're an old SNL fan. Do you remember that skit?
Of
That's
course
the
I do.
ticket.
Who do you take me for?
I knew you would. I knew you'd get me.
I do.
Okay, when you want to create your own reality, less through the offering of your own action. When you feel you have too much to do. When you want more time to do more things that bring you pleasure. So really about letting go of a lot of the things that you're trying to control that you don't need to control. Sometimes we get in that micromanager kind of mood, right? And we need to let go of some of that. We don't have to control every little thing in our life. And I know a lot of us get in that mode where we think we have to, but that's really just causing you more stress. And you know, if you let go of that, the world isn't going to fall apart.
No.
You know, and we can really help ourselves have less stress if we learn to let go of some of those things and learn that we don't have to control everything around us.
And I think it's also important for people to realize that you already are at the wheel of your life. You're already
Right.
in control.
Right.
You've already set the intention, you know the direction that you want to go, you know where you want to be.
Yeah.
And so following that intention and allowing the universe to support you
Mhm.
in that endeavor can get you so much further when you work cooperatively
Yeah.
and be a cooperative component in your own life to allow yourself to flow to that answer, to follow your guidance, to
Mhm.
make it easier on yourself. It doesn't have to be hard to accomplish something.
Yeah.
And that's something you need to realize is you already are in control and the universe is there to support you. And so if you allow more things to start to flow to you and you follow your guidance to those
Mhm.
things, that's really where you see the full basis of your control and how delightful it can be as you allow
Yeah.
the support to flow in for yourself.
Mhm.
It's a big deal.
So awesome. Yeah. So I'll read this little bit. I'll read part of it and then Carissa can read part. So we'll do it and then we'll do it together.
Yeah.
So current emotional set point range. This placemat process will be of the most value to you when your emotional set point is ranging somewhere between passion and overwhelmment. So that's on the emotional guidance scale that we've used almost every podcast, I think. Not every, but you know, we've used it a lot and we've taught how to use that to move your, you know, how to feel better. So we want to be between overwhelmment and passion. So if you're not sure what the current emotional set point is, turn back to chapter 22 and you can, or you can look on the guidance scale. We posted that in the comments on one of the podcasts. You can look back and find
Probably
that.
our emotional guidance skill podcast.
Yeah, probably.
So look for that.
Yeah. So look back and find that. If not, it is in chapter 2 in this book, if you have this book. And if you don't have it, you know where you can get it.
Yes.
So as Jerry and Esther's life evolved and as the ideas and projects expanded, Esther began carrying a notebook that contained her list of things that she needed to do. The list had evolved to several pages and was comically called Things to Do Today. Well, 10 people could not have accomplished this list in only one day. With each new entry in her list, Esther felt heavier and less free. Because of her desire to be of value and because of her willing nature, she had created a huge sense of responsibility, and her feeling of freedom was being crushed by the weight of it. Sitting in a restaurant and waiting for their meal to be delivered to the table, Esther poured through the pages of her list. Occasionally, she would cross off something already accomplished, and immediately with each omission, she would think of 3 more things to add to the list. As a sense of hopelessness washed through her, she asked us, Abraham, what should I do? Take this large paper placemat and take this large paper placemat, we explained, and we will guide you. Draw a line down the center of your placemat, and as a heading on the left side, write things I will do today. And as a heading on the right side, you can write things I would like the universe to do. So you can do this on a piece of paper. And if you want to do it right now while you're following along, you can do it because
Right.
it'll really help you feel better by the end of it. So now looking over your long things to do today list, select only those things that you absolutely intend to do this day. Things you feel you must do, things you really want to do. Select only those things that no matter what you intend to do today and enter them on the left side of your placemat beneath the heading, Things I Will Do Today. And now enter all other tasks on the universe's side of your placemat. Esther looked over the list and chose a handful of things that she really did need to do this day, and she entered them on her side of her placemat. And then she began transferring her long list of remaining important tasks to the universe's side of the placemat. One by one, she transferred her tasks to the right side of the line, and as each task was transferred, she felt lighter. So she went through her long list that she had, many pages, and just wrote a few of them on the left side that she knew she could get done
The
that
things
day.
she could do that day. So
Yeah.
this is kind of how it would look for you guys at home. So on the left side, I have that I will do today. And on the right side, it'll be opposite for you guys since we're on a video. It's things I would like the universe to do. And so you just kind of make that list.
Yeah. Okay, so we explained to Esther that in order to achieve anything, she has only two things to accomplish. She must identify her object of desire, and then she must get out of the way and let it happen. In other words, ask and then find a way of achieving a vibration that allows it, because it's always given whenever you ask. And that's something that's sometimes hard to remember. Once we ask for something, the universe is working at finding a way to give it to us. So we really need to let go and allow that to happen and start waiting for the signs and keeping that thing in mind that we want in the forefront of our mind. We're going to find things that are going to get us there, where those breadcrumbs are going to be left in front of us to find.
And it can be a really fun journey, kind of like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
In like a really fun way.
Yeah,
It can be exciting if you let it be.
If you let it be.
Yeah, life is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to have some fun.
Right. Yeah. As Esther had been poring over her long list of responsible tasks, she was certainly amplifying the asking part of the equation, but her confusion and feelings of overwhelmment were certain emotional indicators that she was not in the vibrational state of allowing in what she had been asking for.
Right. And that's kind of huge right there. I think a lot of us, in this chaotic energy of spring and thinking of all the things we need to do and all the cleaning we need to do and all the gardening that's coming up, whatever it is that spring brings for people, they can get really easily overwhelmed. And so this is such a wonderful process to do if you have that long to-do list, like we all do, especially if you're in a place that has winter, like us, and like yard work comes up and all of that
spring
stuff.
cleanup going on outside.
It starts to happen.
Yeah.
And so this is a really wonderful thing for all of you that are feeling overwhelmed and cluttered in the brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Right. During the process of transferring these items to the universe's side of the placemat, her resistance began to soften and her vibration began to lift. And while she did not realize it in that moment, her point of attraction had shifted, and she had begun immediately to allow the realization of her desires. Whether Esther experienced in the next few days, what Esther experienced in the next few days left her feeling amazed. Not only was she able to easily accomplish her own short and manageable list, but the items on the universe's side of the list of the placemat were also accomplished, but without requiring Esther's time, attention, or action. People she had been unable to reach by telephone called her. Employees on her staff felt inspired to assist in some way, and they would accomplish something that was on Esther's list and then report it to her after it was done, without Esther's attention or request. Time seemed to stretch to allow more to be accomplished, and her timing with people and places and traffic improved dramatically. The placemat process caused Esther to focus her desires more specifically and, for the first time, to release her resistance regarding the same. For when you ask, it is always given, but you do have to let it in.
That's a good one.
I love that so much. All right. So they're going to explain just a little bit more about the placemat process, and then we'll go from there. So it says, Abraham, speak to us more about the placemat process. Very often, whenever Esther and Jerry are having lunch, Esther gets a big piece of paper from her purse, and then they draw a line right down the middle of the paper. On the left side, they write, things to do today, Jerry and Esther. And on the right side of the paper, they write, things to do, universe. On their side of the page, they write the things they plan to take action on that day. On the other side, they write what they would like the universe to act upon, so just like we talked about. Esther has always been a big maker of lists. She often has about 10 days work on her things to do today list, and very often the list has served as an excuse to become overwhelmed. In other words, with so many things to do that she cannot possibly accomplish, the things to do today list has sort of dragged her down. But what she is discovering now is that she only puts on her list what she really intends to do. And in that way, there is very little resistance, even with respect to the things she is going to do. And anything else that she wants to do, whether it is today, a year from today, or 10 years from today, she writes on the right side of the list and allows the universe to deal with it. As they left a restaurant one day, Jerry said, do you want to take this placemat with you? And Esther replied, this is the best part. There's no follow-up. She left the list on the table. She left it there for the universe to deal with. There is no follow-up, you see, not anything for her to drag around and hound herself about. And so these are the sorts of things that you are doing there when you understand that there is this constant steady stream of well-being flowing to you. In the moment that you say, I prefer, or I like, or I appreciate, or I want, the heavens part for you, and the non-physical energies in that instant begin orchestrating the manifestation of your desire. In that instant, faster than you can speak it, the energy begins to flow, and the circumstances and events in an orchestration that we cannot begin to describe begins to fall into place in order to give you exactly what you want. And if it were not for your resistance, things would happen really fast.
Mm. So true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So very true. And the more that you begin a practice like this, the more that you begin to realize the power in it and how beautiful it is to watch it unfold. So it can be very difficult to allow and begin it allowed to unfold, just like you talked about, letting go of that control, but realizing you are in the driver's seat, you are in control, and that things are orchestrating for you. Can make a huge difference in letting go of that resistance. And that's why this practice is so powerful, is you're like, well, this is where I'm telling you what I want, and this is what I want done, and then I'll do this, and I'll allow this to begin to come to me.
Yeah,
So
that's
good.
so good. And I remember before I knew this technique, I used to write things on a list like Esther and have so many, and I did feel overwhelmed and never got to them. And it's fun to check them off when you get them done, but that list never went away. I never completed anything, so I never felt like I got done. But when I started to move some things over, and even if I had to add it to the list the next day that I could do today, then it felt good again. I wasn't feeling overwhelmed because, oh, I still have all this other stuff over here. But it just happened. You just get it accomplished so much easier when you let go of that having to do it all right now. It's so good.
And that's kind of what's going through our minds a lot of times when we feel anxious or feel cluttered or feel overwhelmed, is that we have that list in our mind. And it's sitting there and we're just thinking about it, and it pops up and you're like, oh my gosh, I have all these things to do, but I don't even want to do one of them. And then you just get to that point where you get kind of stuck. People describe feeling stuck. You're never stuck, but you can feel that way.
And overwhelmment really is paralyzing a lot of times.
Absolutely.
And you could get a few of those things done, but you're so overwhelmed that you don't do any of it. And then it moves to the next day, and it keeps piling up. It's hard. So this is such an easy way to get yourself moving on the things that need to be accomplished and that you can do.
And it gets your list on paper for you.
And
so then you get it out of your mind. And then you realize, well, these two things maybe are just the things that need to get done today.
Yeah.
And the rest I can let the universe start to work on. And
Yeah.
then tomorrow I can pick my next two things, like
Yeah.
something that feels accomplishable. And then you feel accomplished too,
Mhm.
which helps get that ball rolling
Yeah,
and feeling
yeah.
better and good, letting go of that resistance that we
Right.
talk about.
Yeah, it really takes that overwhelmment out of the picture.
Takes the pressure away
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Like you're
it's
like,
so
okay,
good.
now I know what I'm doing today.
Mhm.
And once you have that plan, that's also really relieving for your mind.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
having that relief
yeah,
is a big deal.
yeah, it's good. So much easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this little process. And so
Mhm.
it's easy and it's just something you can do in minutes.
Yeah,
It doesn't take very
Yeah.
long.
and you can do it for your home life, you can do it for your work life. You can have separate lists and y- you know, I know at work, when I worked in the print shop, we were always super busy and always had a lot of jobs to do. But when you do them one at a time and quit looking so far forward and just do them, make that list, write them down, get them done, check them off. It pretty soon you're like, oh, what else can I do? I got it all done, So it's so much easier. It'll make your life a lot more simple, a
Right.
lot, you don't have to carry that around in your head. That's the biggest thing, getting
Yes.
it out and getting it down on paper. And you don't have to keep drumming over it all night long or all day long. Whatever, it doesn't take the joy away from the things that you can accomplish.
Right. You're not worrying about the next thing, the next thing,
Right.
the next thing. It's already down on the paper.
Yeah,
You've already made a plan, and that
Yeah.
plan is a relief to your mind as
yeah,
well.
and yet you already know what's next because it's right there.
It's right there.
Yeah.
And when you set this intention, because intention is everything when it comes to energy
Yep.
and when it comes to your life, you set the intention that the rest the universe is working on right now. And so that when you come back to the list tomorrow, you might have an even shorter list
Yeah,
because some of those other things may have already been taken care of.
yeah,
And isn't that fun?
yeah, it is. It's so good. And it really is magical how it works. Things just will take care of themselves, or like it said in there, when people that you were supposed to call that had on your list, they'll call you. You don't have to call them.
Right.
You'll get an email from somebody that you were supposed to email, things just will happen. And once you get that movement, it really goes smoothly.
Yeah, I was even thinking sometimes, when you're trying to find this one thing and you can't find that one thing, you have no idea where it is and it's not where you thought that you put it, and you're like looking everywhere and you can't find it. This would be a really good thing to put on that universe to-do list.
Right.
So if that's one of the
Yeah.
things that's on your mind, you just can't find that thing and your brain keeps going that, we'll put it on the universe to-do list.
Yeah.
And you might be surprised once you let go of that resistance of I can't find it, because
Yeah.
that statement right there is one of the things that's holding you back from finding it.
Exactly.
So you give it to the universe and say, okay, I trust that you're bringing it to me and I will find it. Well, pretty soon there it'll be.
Yeah.
Like right there. You're like, oh,
Right
I
where
looked
you
in that
left it.
place 3 times. There it is. This is a true story. This has happened to me
Yeah.
more than once because Carissa loses things. And they just, I put them in place and they're not there.
Yeah.
And then, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let it go. I know that I will find it and I'll just set my mind to, okay, I'll find it later. And sure enough, I do. And sometimes really fast. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll just go do something else and do. I'll know that I'm gonna find it eventually. And sure enough, it'll just pop up right there.
Yeah.
My duster is a big one.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, yeah,
So
I
my
remember you
duster,
talked about that
Yeah.
on one of
I
our
looked for
podcasts.
that everywhere. So I have like a Swiffer duster thing that I use and the thing's great. Couldn't find it. I looked up and down all around my house. I used my pendulum to look for it. It kept telling me it was in the kitchen. And I'm like, I looked all over the kitchen, can't find it. Looked everywhere. I was like, okay, whatever. I can't find it. So I'm just gonna do something else. Yeah, so I did something else. I think it was the next day or something like that. It was in the kitchen. Moved something on the counter. Sure enough, there was my Swiffer duster. Like, why was it on the counter? Don't know, because I don't dust the counter with the Swiffer duster. Why was it there? I don't know if I put it there. My husband put there. I don't know, but it was there. And I was like, I had already looked in the kitchen and I never saw it, or I didn't move those papers in that U-line book or what. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
It's just there.
That's
Just there.
awesome.
Looked all over my house, up and down, upstairs, downstairs. I never put it upstairs. But you let that go.
Yeah.
And once you let
Yeah.
that go, then it's like pretty soon you're doing something else and it aligns you with finding that
Mhm.
thing. So this is really just one example of how
Yeah.
that can happen and how it can happen quickly and easily. And I wasn't looking for the Swiffer Dust later, but it showed
Right.
up in my experience
Yeah.
because I said
Because
I
you let
wanted
go
to
of it.
find it.
Yeah.
And I let go of I can't find it.
Uh-huh.
And then when I did, sure enough, I found
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how when we pay attention to the words we're saying, like I can't find it
Mhm.
anywhere. You're not gonna find it
Nope,
anywhere.
you're not.
But when we say, oh, it's misplaced right now, it'll show up. And it always does.
And it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it really, really does. And
Yeah.
sometimes in the oddest of places,
Oh, yeah.
or things show up that you didn't even know you were looking for, and you're like, hey, I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
Why is that sitting on the dryer when neither of us
Right.
was home all day and it wasn't there when I left this morning?
Yeah.
Also a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. But, the world works in mysterious ways, right?
And life can be fun. And
Yeah,
you
it
should
really
just-
can
It's
be.
good when you can just let it happen like that.
Yeah.
And I've gotten so much better about, saying I can't find it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
that has never helped me in the past. But
Right.
it has helped me when I just let it go and I say,
Yeah.
okay, I want to find this and then go do something else.
Yeah. Yeah. I did that with my phone one day. I was forever losing my phone that day. And anytime I wanted it, it was gone. So I just let go of it. Oh, yeah, I'll find it, It was in the closet.
What?
Where I was in there looking for a shirt to wear that day or something, and I set it on the shelf
Yeah.
in there, in my jean pile or something. I don't remember, but
Ooh,
yeah, it was sitting right there,
just in the
right where I
closet.
left it. Yep. Yeah. Somewhere where I least expected it to be.
Well, right. Like, why would you ever
But-
think I left my phone in the closet?
I
Like, that's
know,
not really
yeah,
a thought.
Yeah. But I apparently had it in my hand and I needed it in my hand for something, so I set it down.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. And when I quit looking for it, I just had walked into my closet for something. Oh, there's my phone, It was right there.
Of course it was.
Right, yeah, so. Yeah, it's so fun when stuff like that happens and alignment happens,
It is. It's
Really
really fun, and we hope that you allow yourself to have that experience because
Yeah,
you'll really enjoy it when it does happen to you, for sure.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah. Okay, so use that list. How about if we talk about meditation a little bit now?
Yeah.
Clearing your mind, and when you have a lot of noise or like that long list keeps replaying in your mind all the time, just taking a few minutes to clear that out and forget about it for a minute, it opens up space so that you can accomplish what you wanted to. We're going to do a little meditation about spring cleaning of your mind. So getting rid of some of those thoughts that keep running through, and some little tips about meditation. If you're not used to meditating, the one we're going to do, excuse me, is only about 5 minutes long. But, if you get thoughts coming through your mind while you're trying to meditate, just don't dwell on them. Just allow them to go through. When I first started meditating, I learned from Eckhart Tolle that he would say, you're never gonna just stop everything in your mind, no matter how hard you try. And the harder you try, the harder it gets. But
Resistance.
Yeah, resistance. So he taught me that you just say, oh, thinking, and allow that thought to pass through. Just don't stop it. Don't dwell on it. Just thinking, okay, big deal, sweeping it through. So you don't want to try and stop those thoughts. Just allow them to pass through, and don't stop them to dwell on them. Don't think about it. Just, okay, thinking. So that's one tip. What's your favorite tip about meditation?
So I love that because like, especially when you begin a meditation or you're beginning to meditate,
Mhm.
whether you're experienced or not, a lot of times you'll tell us that. So I like that, you just
Yeah.
kind of acknowledge that they're there and let them pass. Acknowledge
Mhm.
that they're there and let them pass.
Yeah.
It's just like your mind, you need to acknowledge it and then it'll let go.
Mhm.
And so, what I love to do is, um, if I'm having trouble kind of letting the thoughts go, what I like to do, one of my favorite visualizations, and it comes from a meditation that I love to do. It's a guided meditation. But she talks about blowing your cares and worries away like you're blowing a dandelion.
Mm.
So, what
Oh, that's
I
cool.
like to do is as I'm breathing, I breathe in. And then when I breathe out, I think of like the little like dandelion seeds floating away. And I imagine that those are my thoughts and worries and cares. And all of those are just blowing away from me. And I just picture it like, for me, I love to
Mm.
picture like a big green meadow and like I'm blowing all of that away and I just watch them drift away on the dandelion seeds.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
so that just helps me release them. And I'm doing it
Mhm.
intentionally so that I can begin to quiet my mind so that my meditation can really um, relax me and I can let go of those
Mm.
things. I know that they're there, but I've let them go so that I can focus on the meditation in a moment.
Right. Yeah.
It's really helps to quiet my mind. That's one of my
That's good.
favorites.
Yeah. I'll have to try that one. That's
Mhm.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for the wonderful people that make guided meditations.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we have this meditation. I have it on my phone so I
Me
can
too.
read it, but um so it's called Spring Cleaning Meditation, letting go of the mind clutter. And we're gonna just sit comfortably and relax. You can either lie down or be in a chair and sit. You can have your feet comfortably on the ground in front of you and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. And just allow your body to relax. Relaxing more and more with each deep breath. And now just acknowledge the clutter that's in your mind right now. We don't have to fix anything. Don't have to clean anything. Just acknowledge that the clutter's there. And visualize your mind as a room. And it's filled with clutter, thoughts, worries, and distractions. And now with each inhale, notice the clutter getting stirred up. And then with each exhale, imagine releasing it. And you're breathing in light. As you breathe in, envision a bright light entering your body and mind. Feel this light cleansing and clearing out all the clutter, leaving you with a sense of spaciousness and peace. Breathing in that light. See it just filling the room, letting go of all the clutter. Keep breathing in and out. And with each breath out, you release one piece of mental clutter. Could be a worry, a negative thought, or anything that no longer serves you. Repeat this process, just letting go of one piece of clutter at a time. And now imagine sweeping through your mind, removing all the unnecessary thoughts and emotions. Picture yourself opening a big window in your mind. Let the fresh breeze of clarity and calmness flow in. Notice how good that feels, just letting that fresh breeze take care of everything. It's just blowing out the window. And now you can repeat in your mind, I release what no longer serves me. My mind is clear and peaceful. And now you can sit in gratitude for a moment. Just take a moment to thank yourself for taking the time to declutter your mind and create space for positivity. And now slowly bring your awareness back to the present moment. Notice how good and light you feel now. Feel that peacefulness and clarity in your mind. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Feel good?
Yeah. I do feel good. I have to say that helped me a lot.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
really is.
that's a good one.
Calm.
Just let it go. And I remember doing a meditation, and I think it was from Eckhart Tolle too, where he just swept away all the clutter or all the dust in your mind, all the thoughts that you keep bringing back.
Right.
Just get rid of them, let them go. Feels good. Yeah.
Feels great.
Yeah.
Feels great. I especially like when we opened the window and it felt like, spring breeze and fresh air
Can
coming
just
in.
smell that.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
like the fresh air, like when you open it and maybe it rained the day before and it just smells so fresh.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. The spring smells and the
Spring
spring
and
clarity.
summer
Yeah.
air.
Yeah. Feels good. So you can listen to that meditation anytime that your mind's feeling cluttered up. Or just do it on your own. Just let go of that clutter.
Yeah, the
See
nice
it
simple one.
swirling. Yeah, we don't have to make it complicated or hard. It doesn't have to be hard. Life doesn't have to be hard.
Doesn't have to be.
No. So, Carissa, where can we find you on the webs, the interwebs?
The interwebs. I love that word. You can find me at Light of Hope Healing on Facebook. You can find us collectively on Facebook at our SoulSpace. And then I also have a Square site, which is light-of-hope-healing.square.site.
Yeah.
What about you, Trish?
And on YouTube.
And then we're both on YouTube.
Yeah.
Hello, you're seeing us on YouTube.
Yeah. So you can find me at inspiredsignals.com. I also have Facebook and Instagram at inspiredsignals.com. And Inspired Signals. And my artsy pages are Inspired Signals Studio. That's kind of hard to say. Inspired Signals Studio on Facebook and Instagram.
It's hard to say, but it's worth going to.
Yeah. Some
because you make some pretty awesome stuff.
fun ideas on there. Yeah. So that's it. We'll wrap it up for this week and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Questions, comments, let us know below.
Yep.
If you have anything that you want us to go over, you want topics that you want us to discuss or things that you've been
Yeah.
wondering about, please let us know as well. We want to hear from you. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Happy spring.